We're here today on a very special The Everyman podcast. It's the summer of The Everyman. He needs no introduction. He is the drummer from the Grammy-nominated Between the Buried and Me. You may know him from his Twitch channel, Blakey Eats Steaky. Ladies and gentlemen, the Cosmic Canoe is the steakhouse. Blake Richardson, what's up, my brother?
Yeah.
Boy, man, what fun we're having, and we've just begun.
Yeah.
Dude, we just had Dusty Waring on the podcast. We talked at length about the amazing Twitch weekend debut you guys had. Congratulations on all the viewers and all the comments and all the outreach and the love. Tell us about it, man. Where'd that idea come from, and what was it like? What was the setup like? How'd it go?
Dude, well, I got to give my wife Kristen cred for the initial blooming of the idea. She was talking about doing, well, you guys should just do like an online concert thing, but kind of do it yourself. I was like, all right. And this was when I was already doing, the occasional Twitch stream on my own platform. I was like, damn, I kind of got like the audio and everything sort of figured out with how I do my Twitch stuff. It's like, why don't we just do a show? We could just do a show on Twitch and, make it free. And, we could do like, raffles and some merch with it. And then we had the idea, it's like, it would be kind of cool to do like to play Colors, because that's where we wrote most of that record, was in my parents' basement, where we ended up doing the stream for it. So yeah, that was kind of like the birthing of that whole idea. And it was super, super duper DIY. Like the only thing we did, our old school front of house guy came in and he did all the live mixing for the sound for us and all that, he ended up being like the MVP of the weekend, because like in the chat was just blowing up, and like most of the comments were like, this sounds amazing, blah, blah, blah. Like it had nothing to do with us or playing. They're like, I can't believe how good it sounds. So it was awesome. But yeah, we got him, then we got our boy Chuck it was Courtney, our original. He actually was our front of house engineer for the original Colors tour that we did back in the day. And so that was kind of cool. It all sort of came full circle with that. And then our old school merch guy, Chuck, came out and did all the camera work. So again, yeah, it was like super DIY, but it was just a cool, fun idea that we thought would be kind of awesome and give some sort of entertainment to people watching at home that are sitting around twiddling their thumbs waiting for concerts to come back again, which we don't know when that's going to be. So we were like, well, let's just do like a free gig. I think it'd be cool.
I'll tell you what, man, it was like, my fiance and I, we were looking forward to it. And I was like, it was on my calendar, because I was like, oh, look, it's like, it felt like it really was like going to a show or something, because we knew like, okay, Friday night in 2 weeks, BT Bam night. And then like the next day I was up shooting skeet with the boys and up in the mountains. And I was like, boys, I gotta get out of here. BT Bam's on at 3. Like,
yeah,
and like then I'm home watching it. And like, just, I think, obviously with this podcast, we've really tapped into a lot of different angles of communicating, and it started with just an audio only podcast. Now we have this lovely video podcast, and then we got onto Twitch. And the cool thing about Twitch is like you're saying, is this instant feedback and communication, where like, while it's not the same as a show, and we still miss that, and we want that to come back, and we know what we have to do for it to come back. The difference is you're getting that instant feedback, whereas at a show, you might only get 10 people or 12 people that happen to bump into you. Like, we're going to get a slice of pizza at Lorenzo's. Shout out to Lorenzo's. Get those monster slices. Oh. If you've ever, and let me just tell you something to the good people of the United States and abroad that are listening to this podcast. When you come to Philadelphia, if you're looking for a place where you can see an armed guard and a humongous pizza slice, there's only one space. There's only one place to do it, and that's Lorenzo's on South Street.
In 10.
Crackheads everywhere. It's
really
amazing. That's awesome. It's the whole experience.
It's the ambiance.
Yeah, it's part of the flavor. but you know, you get to see people's instant reaction and how happy they are and the joy. And like I was watching the comments come through, and there was a lot of people like, you know, thank you so much. This means so much. And like I know for me, it meant a lot because it was something to look forward to, get through the tough week. And you brought a lot of joy to a lot of people all over the world.
Yeah, ironically, it's even though it was like a virtual show, it was more interactive than an actual show would be. Yeah,
Right.
because you have that like instantaneous feedback of people being involved in the chat and all that stuff. Like it's pretty wild. And yeah, that was kind of our thing, man. We just wanted it to be like a free thing, no pressure. Like we wanted it to also, because we toyed around with the idea of doing, you know, like a full-on production, and a lot of bands have been doing that, like
Yeah.
doing these virtual shows where it's like them on a stage and there's lights and there's all this stuff. It's like, dude, we've done that. It's like if people want to see that, like they can just come. People, for one thing, the people that are watching this have probably already seen us do that. They've seen us on a stage playing
They've seen that show.
lights and production and all that stuff. And then, you know, eventually, when we start doing shows again, we'll get back to that. But there's like an allure to the fact of just, well, here's just us playing in a basement. Like it's kind of, it's like humbling and kind of the, you know, it's endearing. Like it's kind of, it just gives it a cool aspect to the whole thing.
To me, it also, it felt so real and not, you know, there's in that genre of music, you know, the progressive metal world, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on in the sound, you know, all the different effects and all the different things. And, you know, there's some bands that, you know, maybe rely on, you know, backing tracks for certain things or whatever. Like the way you guys did that and how you kind of showed like, yeah, sometimes problems happen. And whether it's like you break your drum throne because you're just so damn powerful over there, you know, or, you know, an amp cuts out or whatever, or somebody makes a mistake. Like it was real. It felt like a real performance. And it was like, there's the art of songwriting and then there's the art of the performance. And I think that the art of the performance is something that people are going to forget. A generation could forget if they don't experience that. I mean, you remember going to shows when you were a kid. I don't know what, pick a band, you know, maybe it was Dream Theater, maybe it was, you know, I don't know, Slayer or whatever, but it had a lasting impact on your mentality where you're like, oh no, like it turns something on in your brain. And I feel like watching that and like the way you guys did it was so real and so not raw in the sense of in the way that people talk about like Saint Anger, but like it was just real. It felt like something you could relate to, especially like you said, like playing in your parents' basement. You know, like I grew up playing music in the second floor of my parents' house. You know, wrote the album that, you know, we recorded down there with Jamie King, and that's how I met Daryl. And then I got to watch that on television, you know, and it was making me watching you guys play in your in your parents' basement, you know, and knowing you guys like that made me reflect on that same thing. And I know a lot of people can relate to that. So it was just like a really, really down and legit, like just real thing that you guys did.
Yeah, we wanted it to be like, I mean, it was genuine. Like that's really like the best word, because that's where it all kind of spawned from. And yeah, that was the vibe that we were going for. And I agree with what you were touching on earlier about how like it's cool to see. I don't know if it's like getting older thing too, but there's like a certain hint of beauty almost when you are watching someone perform and it's not perfect, whether it's like a technical issue that comes up or if they just like mess up a fill or some notes or something like that. It's like it reminds you that it's like, oh, I'm watching an actual human being performing right in front of me, and it's like I'm not just watching some pre-produced laid out thing that's just some well-oiled machine that it's like the same thing every single night. And that's I hope that aspect like doesn't get lost with future generations. And that just, and I don't think it will. Like I think it'll cycle back around. It's like
I'm sure it will.
when you think about record, like the way records are produced, like you got the 60s, 70s, and then the 80s came along, and everything was like super processed, like shotgun snare drum sounds. Between the metal world and even like the electronic world and all that stuff, and then it came
Nirvana showed
around
up.
the 90s to being like more organic sounding, and everyone recorded to tape, and then now we're still in this realm of like pretty processed stuff. And then I feel like we're slowly kind of going back to the organic sounding stuff as far as the production side of everything goes to it. But yeah, it's crazy, man.
Well, I'll tell you what, in metal, at least in my opinion, I think that the change back to analog started when Meshuggah put this last album out, and then they're like, no, we used real drums and all real amps, and everybody's like, what?
Yeah.
Like, I thought I had to do the production stuff to be able to sound like that. And they're like, nope, we're just that good. Basically, we're the kings of metal.
Yeah, the beautiful irony in that whole thing is that
it's amazing.
Those guys are kind of responsible because they're like on the forefront of the whole like the drum programming thing with like Superior Drummer and all that stuff. Like I know Frederick and Thomas had like a lot to do with the spawning of that software. And that whole like virtual drumming thing, like those virtual drum programs, that kind of changed the game as far as like production goes.
Yeah.
And I just think it's ironic that it's like the guys who created that sound just went the opposite direction. It's like, no, I'm going to do straight up real and do like, one take and do it as a band. I was like, thank God, man. It's like and I think they even knew going into it that like the final product for this record is not good. They're like, this is going to be, we're going to do this, one take as a band, and it's going to be super organic sounding. It's not going to be 100% tight. It probably won't be the absolute best representation of how we sound, but it will be 100% real. And they know, and they went into that knowing that it probably wasn't going to sound as good as if they'd have done it like the super processed way with like fake drums and overly processed guitars and, punching in and out every single part and stuff like that. So it was cool that they did that. I was like,
and then it came out like perfect.
Yeah. And it was like, it was still perfect. It was still like,
yeah.
I mean,
I'll tell you what,
so tight. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I got to take Daryl to a Meshuggah concert because it'll overwhelm him. When I took him to his first Dream Theater show, and he was like, just that experience was intense, and we were excited for the BT Bam show. I'll tell you, Meshuggah, it'll unlock the beast within you,
dude. Daryl, you would dig on Meshuggah for sure. Like even if you're not in that world, like it's for one thing, like their production, like their light show is just like pretty much anyone can appreciate it, but.
I think I sat him down one night. I think I sat you down one night, bro, and made you watch Meshuggah videos with me. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you did, and I think you sent me like a ton of some of the YouTube videos and stuff too. And I dig it. I dig it. And the cool thing about this whole Cosmic Canoe and the journey is I'm a fan and I'm learning. You know what I mean? So I'm just like along for the ride. So like when I was at Justin's and we were about to pod, and right before you guys went on. And I was upstairs. Yeah, I was upstairs and I was watching you guys. I'm like, man, they look like they're having so much fucking fun, man. So like I'm like a kid in a candy store when it comes to all this because this is a new world for me. So if I smile too much on this thing, it's just because I'm like learning shit all the time. It's just I'm so happy to be here.
Dude, you got a freaking what's that podcast? Have you seen that? Well, I think there's a video of it too. But when Bill Burr goes to the Meshuggah show, like
and he's like, these fucking guys, fucking incredible, like he's like going off. He's like
his aspect from it, yeah.
Dude, he's a pretty good drummer, and I think Josh Freese like is his drum teacher.
I think it's either him and I
know
know
the Freese boys,
Dave Elich, I think teaches him too.
That sounds right.
He's like a LA dude.
But he was talking about being backstage with like at the LA Forum, and it's like all of the best studio drummers from LA are standing on the side, like watching Tomas and just being like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, are you?
Yeah.
And like every time, the thing there's so many drummers I love, yourself included, obviously, and we'll get to that in a minute. But you know, of all my favorite drummers, the one that that still amazes me like every time is Tomas Haake. And like,
Oh yeah.
dude, this one time at NAMM, you know, and I don't get excited and like starstruck by really anybody anymore. And just because I realized everybody's just a person, you know, like they all take dumps, you know, they all use booty wipes. Shout out to promo code Everyman, save
E-dubs.
save 20% off your booty wipes on Amazon.
Undercarriage.
You get that savings. Blake, I'll send you some booty wipes, man. Get the savings for yourself. People, you know, they at NAMM, I'm like, there's all these people just running around, and you see these celebrities where it's like, oh, there's Travis Barker, and you're like, oh, that's cool. And I'm walking to go look at like some weird drum shit. You know, it's probably like a plastic snare drum or something. And I hear like and I'm like, I stop and I snap my head over and I hear it again, and I'm like looking around like, where is he? He's here. And you know how NAMM is with like the sound, because it's like, Daryl, it's like being in 1,000 guitar centers at the same time.
Oh my God, it's chaos.
And like your ear catches like the melody of Enter Sandman over here, but then you hear like, like on the saxophone, and it's just like it's the craziest shit.
Surrounded.
And I just keep hearing and then finally I look over and I see it, and it's Tomas Haake, and he's sitting there with like trying out some drum shoes, and then I just like get all wide-eyed and I just stop and I'm staring at him, and he's just sitting there behind a kick drum, and he was like just trying to be a guy, you know,
just a dude.
And I'm over there creepily staring at him, you know, watching him do this. Then he realizes like I'm watching him and I know who he is, and then he started like really, like he gave me like a 30-second double bass show. It was
a show.
And Daryl, like he's no other drums. It's just a kick drum in front of him, and he's just like playing these crazy patterns. And then I went up and I was like, I'm such a big fan of yours, sir. You know, like, he's super gracious. You know, I'd love to get him on here one of these days. I'm sure I'll run into him sometime.
In your defense, man, like as far as metal drummers, basically every drummer that plays metal looks up to that dude. Like that guy kind of paved the way for what kind of fusiony metal drumming is nowadays, because that was his thing. Like he was one of the dudes that was kind of on the forefront of like introducing like Wecklish style, like jazzy style dynamics to metal drumming. And he was just like super innovative. So pretty much every metal drummer is just like, dude, I mean, you got your dudes that just can go super fast and are like super powerful, but every metal drummer loves Thomas from Meshuggah. It's like, dude, yeah. Like at the LA show when we opened up for them at the Wiltern, when we did that tour with him, I watched him every day. Like we would play, we had like a 45
that must have been bananas,
like a 30-minute changeover. I was like, I'm watching watch these guys every single day. Yeah, I did. I watched them every single show. But I went to where like the front house board is at the Wiltern, and then there was like a little VIP area, and I like got in there, and dude, it was like, yeah, it was just like you were saying, like every LA drummer, it was like Elitch was there, John Tempestia from White Zombie was there, Dirk from Soilwork, like, and they were all air drumming. Like
he's like everyone's favorite drummer.
I was like, dang, I should have taken a video or a picture, because it was hilarious. Like I had this perfect line of sight of like all these drummers, and they were all like,
oh my God.
That's when you know you got mad respect, man. That guy, like he's getting like the super legit drummers to air along to his stuff.
Well, I talk about him so much on here that eventually I'll just be able to cut an entire pod together of just other people talking about him. It'll be like, you know, even we had Mike Mangini on, and Mangini was even like, look, man, there's a certain, like you're saying, that everyone is, even Mike Mangini's like, this guy's got something going on. That's
it's just it's not only his like technical ability, but his creativity.
That's
like,
what I mean. It's like
ingenuity. I mean, dude, it's like he's like the MJ. He's like the Michael Jordan of the metal drumming world. He really is, man. He's just kind of had. I'm like we just finished watching that freaking Last Dance documentary, so I'm like on a Michael Jordan kick right now.
Dude, how great was that? Wasn't it awesome?
Dude,
don't you want more Dennis Rodman though?
Yo, yeah, they could have done like
my man.
Oh, dude, I love. That's what I was waiting for. I was like, I hope they do like an episode about Dennis Rodman. Now, I'm glad that they touched on the fact of like how good of how not only like how much of an essential part of that team that he was, but his ability to be able to, because he's like one of the greatest rebounders ever. Like he just had this freakish ability to know if a shot popped off, like he knew exactly where it was going. Like, and that he was like, dude, and he developed that skill set. That's what was so, and it's such a like unique skill set within the world of basketball. It's like he didn't care so much about like his free throws or jump shots or whatever. He was just like, I'm going to learn how to rebound every damn possibility of where this ball is going to go. It's like, I want to be able to learn where this ball is going to go, no matter who shoots it, where they're shooting from, this, that, and the other. So I was like, and I just thought he was super badass too. Like
he's just such a badass.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Attitude, straight attitude. Love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Daryl's from Chicago, so he's.
Oh, for real?
Oh yeah. Yeah, dude. Yeah.
So you grew
all
up
day.
like, oh man, so you grew up like in that,
yeah,
like in the thick of it.
The Bulls were worshipped. It wasn't even like they were worshipped. It was crazy. It was fucking crazy, man. And everybody thought they were Michael Jordan. And it's funny because when I played basketball, I was like, I don't have a snowflake chance in hell of being Michael Jordan. But I was like, you know what? I might be able to do some Dennis Rodman. So
yeah, you've got the body for Rodman. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like he almost made rebounding
made you
like
want
a respectable aspect of the game. Like it wasn't.
Well, it changed the outcome of the game often.
Yeah, literally.
Because he was just nasty and was like, no, fucking hit me in the face. Let's do this.
Yeah,
just trying to get my nose broke.
People don't realize, like, you know, the rebounding was such an essential portion of his game. But there were a few times, man, where, like, you know, he put up, like, you know, some double-digit points because he can fucking play ball, too. Like, it wasn't just rebounding, but he knew his role. That was the thing. He knew his role.
Well, they were the ultimate team. That was the takeaway. And also, I think the takeaway from that is, and we had the kind of similar conversation with Dusty here on the Everyman podcast in the archives. You can check that on our YouTube. But there's a cost for greatness, you know, and to be a great team that wins championships consistently, you have everything is important. Every detail, every day, stacked up over and over and over and over again. And it's like, you know, for a while I got really fascinated with bodybuilding, just like the psychology of what those guys do. And I know, Blake, you and I spent a lot of time talking about Ronnie Coleman. Yeah, you know, and you know, Mount Bicepius, you know, and all these things and all the great beef talk. But you know, I heard Phil Heath talking about, like, and Kai Green actually, it was saying that, like, for me to have that ultimate moment where I peak on that stage at that moment in time 6 months from now, like, I have to eat this broccoli right now, because if I don't eat this broccoli right now, I can't get the workout I need in 20 minutes. And if I don't get that workout in, it's like a chain reaction. And the way those guys think about things is like that ultimate chain of events, how it leads to the prize. And it's always really easy to look back at your life and say, like, okay, why am I in the position I'm in? Because I did this, and I called this guy an asshole, so on and so forth. It's hard to do that the other direction and look forward and be like, okay, how is me eating broccoli today going to affect me 6 months from now? And when you start dipping your toe in that water and making decisions like that, and Daryl's had a lot of influence on me and starting to think more like that, in that team environment, you know, that's what those guys have in common, whether it's Dennis Rodman playing his role, you know, Michael Jordan just being the fucking man and having to be a dick and having to push his team, you know. It's important.
Dude, it totally is. Like, and he's the great thing about that docuseries is that it's like, it's the first one where it's like, because I know basically Michael Jordan pretty much had like final edit, like or approval of like the final edit and stuff like that. which is good because it's like it's finally an opportunity for him to like tell his story, like his side of the story. Because it's like, man, media and everything has been trying to tell this dude's story for years, and finally he gets an opportunity to tell it from his perspective. But what's great about it though too is that he doesn't beat around the bush when it comes to him admitting that he was an asshole. Like he grilled those dudes, man. Like he could have edited.
But every single one of them said that he made me better.
Yeah.
Every
exactly.
single one.
It's like he could have made the whole thing seem like he's this super nice guy and all that stuff. It's like, like they had the interviews with a bunch of those dudes. It's like, yeah, he was a dick, but I mean, we won.
Yeah, 6 rings or whatever.
Yeah. 6 rings, bro.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like he made me a better player. He made us a better team because he had his eye on the prize. He was like very forward thinking and this.
See, I don't think that's ever going to be able to happen again because of the way that our media landscape is now. And this, unless things drastically change with regard to social media and just that whole culture.
God, yeah. Imagine
you're never going to have somebody who's so pure a competitor that all they care about is the game and not, not spinning off a reality show or everything is about the brand. Like very few people come in and they're only about the game. And that's like, I don't know. There's like a part of that like it's, I don't know. It's just innocence or whatever you want to call it. It's not there. I
don't know if it's like modern day culture. Like it's hard to imagine, like if you had the Bulls and you had them in this era with like social media, Instagram and this, that, and the other, it's like with this like 24-hour news cycle and constant media attention. Yeah. I just don't know if that's possible.
Like would it be hard to keep that together for that long of a time?
That's difficult to find someone that intentional and that intense and that tooled and that so much of a dick to where like it would just stay at like the top first. So like think about someone being so fucking awesome and intense that they changed the culture for years.
Yeah.
Like for years. Like that's ridiculous.
It's like internationally. Like the Bulls, like that team changed how basketball is looked at from a world view.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? I forget the statistic they said. It was like
70%.
Yeah,
it was like growth because of him internationally.
Yeah. In the international spectrum, like that's so crazy.
That's insane, man. That's because think about it. There's no commercials about people like, hey, I want to be Bill Gates or like, like I want to be Steve Jobs. Like nobody, I mean, as they've changed the landscape, technologically, but nobody's like, yo, dude, like, I'm just going to wear a microprocessor around my neck because they're fucking awesome. Like, it's just, nobody's going to do that. But, people will carry a basketball through the hallways of high school. They will do that. So, because of Michael Jordan.
God, no, man. The guy is just like he had his own, like, culture just surrounded, like, his own unique culture, I guess. And it's, dude, is because he was just like, all because he was just a competitive badass. It's awesome.
Yeah. And I don't know. I like to, I don't want to be a cynic about it. I hope to see that kind of thing, again, but who knows? The world's just, I
mean, you kind of got your guys like that. You got like dudes. I mean, I feel like you've kind of got guys like you got your Conor McGregors who are ultra competitive, but McGregor's got like the whole showman aspect to him too.
Mm-hmm.
Like he knows that it's like, this is a show to some extent, but it's just, man, those things about Jordan though, man. It was like that episode about him, like they wanted to limit his minutes. I forget what it was like the second episode or something like that. And they were talking about
off the injury.
He had to play that game. Yeah, he had to play that game and they wanted to limit his minutes. And he was like, nah, man. It's like, I don't care if I mess up my foot again. It's like, you play the game to win. It's like, put me in there and we got to win this game. It's like,
but at the same time, that mentality is why you need people like Phil Jackson, to step in and say, listen, that's like what I said before about the broccoli now, 6 months. I too want to win this game, but I want to win the championship. The bigger picture is the championship.
Yeah,
and if you blow it now, then we can't win tomorrow. We can't win on Thursday. That's like that perfect balance. And that's what Phil Jackson brought to everywhere he's been, except when he came back to the Knicks a couple years ago.
Yeah. He was able to channel that energy like from all those guys like so well. And dude, the funniest thing was when they go, what was the one when they go like Rodman like went to, they were one of the games of the playoffs and Rodman went to Vegas and like Jordan himself had to go get him.
Yep.
Had to go get him out of the hotel room. I was like, I thought that was so awesome. I was like, nowadays, no.
That could never happen.
No, dude, it's never happening, bro. Like, no way.
Like Jordan knew it's like, if I go get him, then he knows shit's serious. It's like, all right. Yeah.
So, obviously you guys know I'm a big pro wrestling fan, and Billy Corgan, who's, from the Smashing Pumpkins, also from Chicago, also big Bulls fan. And I heard he was on this wrestling podcast and they were talking about Dennis Rodman. And because Dennis Rodman and Billy Corgan are like bros, they're really, really tight. And like, they still hang out. And he was talking about how he's like, the strongest person, physically strongest person he's ever met in his life, like super intelligent guy, gets a bad rep. But he was talking about how it was, I forget whatever NBA finals it was, but like, it must have been the Vegas one where he's like, they came off, he came right to the locker room. They allowed me in the locker room and he was like, we're going out and we're getting laid. And they went out to just every strip club in Chicago. And then like it kept going until the walkthrough of the game. The next game was the next day in Chicago. This wasn't the Vegas one. It was after that.
Oh, okay.
The walkthrough was the next day. So they went from, he literally came off the court, didn't even shower, put on his cowboy boots and some jeans and like a fur coat, no shirt, nothing, got in his truck with Billy Corgan. They went and they just hit all the strip clubs. They brought all these.
Oh, man.
Billy Corgan was saying they brought girls to the arena the next day. And like he gets to do the walkthrough and he takes off his cowboy boots and his jeans and his fur coat and like gets his sweats on and goes out. And then like he had like 22 rebounds or some shit that night. Like, and he was up for like he said he was like, and then they did it again that night, but then they had like a day off in between for travel. But he said he was up for 3 days straight and they won 2 games and he had like, 30 points and 40 rebounds in 2 games. It's like,
yikes.
Like that is it. And those kind of stories, like that's the kind of shit I love,
Oh, it's great. Dude, he was a true rock star. Like, but he got the job done. And that's and they knew that. That was so beautiful about like how they figured that out about Dennis. They were like, all right, we figured out that this dude just needs to like do his thing in between games. Doesn't matter. I mean, it sounds crazy.
Yeah.
None of us would ever do that, but it's obviously not affecting his performance or anything. Somehow this guy's just a freak of nature and is able to go just party in between playoff games, come back and totally shred it.
I love Phil Jackson's like, he's like, you don't put a saddle on a stallion. And I'm like, no, you don't. That man is a stallion. That is a stallion.
God.
He meant it like so genuinely. Like that's the only word to describe Dennis Rodman. He's just a fucking stallion of a human. Like there's no.
Yeah.
You're not gonna,
dude, they said like Lawrence Taylor was kind of like that too. Like when he played, he just
for real.
They were like he would go out and just do whatever the hell he would want, and then just come in the next day and have like 6 sacks in a game.
God,
still high on cocaine allegedly from the night before.
Still gone, just like oh
God, man. Yeah, some guys just like
special breed,
man. That just doesn't phase them.
Bro, if I eat like an extra 3 Buffalo Wild Wings like at 11 or 12, I'm fucked the next day.
Yeah, you can't be lining up on the line of scrimmage in a 3-point stance like that.
I have to time my eating for like when we're on tour.
Oh yeah.
Like I have to know exactly like when we're gonna be like hitting stage. It's like, all right, I have like my windows of timing. It's like, okay, I got a lesson right here. So I got like 30 minutes where I can eat. I can go find some like something that's halfway decent around here that's not like total junk food. And I like, yeah, I don't know if it turns into like a psychological thing. It's like, oh, I can't do pizza. I can't do anything like.
No meatballs. Yeah.
God, it's just like, man. And then, dude, you got dudes like Dennis Rodman who just.
Yeah.
3 days and strippers and fucking 40 rebounds. Like,
yeah, just go in there.
No sleep. Like,
yeah, no sleep. Just still up from the day before. It's like, who cares?
Yeah. And nobody was like, well, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dennis Rodman. What a man. Speaking of great men, Blake Richardson.
Yeah.
You, my friend.
Yeah.
You, my
Highly
friend.
debatable.
Stud.
have been taking over the Twitch world, and I don't know if you remember this. A lot of the rambling conversations that you've been a party with, victim of, I should say. I'm pretty sure at some point I was said to you, like, dude, you got to get online and start doing this shit. And then like when you started doing the Twitch thing, I'm like, yes, finally, because like your personality, and my fiance was commenting on this earlier, you know, Sam, and she was saying that, you know, like your persona, quote unquote persona on your stream is so naturally you, and you have such a perfect fit for that world and that space. And like when you and we had a conversation on the phone about Twitch stuff, and I was picking your brain, and we were talking about, you know, differences. And at that point, I think you were still kind of like doing YouTube, and you hadn't like not fully switched up, but you know what I mean? Like it was like early on.
Yeah.
And I was saying, like, dude, wait till you like the Twitch community is like stellar. And, you know, watching your streams grow over these couple months has been like, I'll sit there and I'm just like smiling like a goofball, because like, I'm so happy for you. Like, one, for people to finally see this like side of you that like like I was saying to Daryl, like when we had Dusty on, I laugh more in those days when you guys come to town and I get to come spend a day with you, like in those days between you guys, you know, than I do like in some whole weeks. And it's just because like you guys are just hilarious, and like it's so cool to see you get yourself out there. But I want to talk to you about Twitch. So how's your experience been with it so far? Like, are you loving it as much as I'm loving you watching you, man?
Oh, dude, it's so much fun. Like, it was one of those things. Yeah, I definitely remember you mentioning it back in the day when we would have combos about stuff. Like, because it was one of those things I'd always thought about doing, and my thing in between tours was to do I would do online lessons and in-person lessons. To a certain extent. And it's funny because we had initially like thought about doing kind of a break anyways during this time period, other than like the Great Misdirect tour that we were going to do a couple months ago. And so I was like, oh, I'll kind of mess around with doing some streams of just me just goofing around or whatever. Just playing along with some songs and stuff like that. I didn't realize how much fun it was going to be. And what's awesome about it is it's like the total opposite of what BT Bam is. Like BT Bam, and BT Bam's super fun too, but in a different way.
Yeah.
Like BT Bam's stuff's cool because it's like, it's things that it's genuine creation. You know, we write the songs and this, that, and the other, we perform them and do all that stuff. But the Twitch thing is just so off the cuff. All this, like when I do, you know, if I'll do like song requests and stuff like that, if people want me to play along to something that they like, it's like all that stuff is super off the cuff. Like 90% of the things that people throw at me, I've never heard before. Like so it's just me kind of exploring ideas on top of what they're doing. And a lot of it, I don't do, to me, I don't know. I feel I don't do that well. and what's awesome is it doesn't matter.
I know.
It's like, it's live. So it's like, you're free. It's just like, dude, there's no pressure. Like, who cares? Like, you never heard the song before. No one,
They know you
Not
haven't.
some
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
pre-composed thing. It's like that's kind of what's so awesome about it. It's like the total opposite of any kind of other live performance that I've ever done. And then you got like the
Admiral
thing that's
Akbro, guys like that.
dude, oh my God, legends. Dude, the guy's a total
He's a
legend.
legend. Akbro,
Yeah,
shout
no.
out. Akbro gifted me a sub, man. I got a lot of love for the Akbro.
I got a cool I got a care package I got to send that guy. I got one for ILAM73 too. He's hooked me up with a bunch of gifted subs too. But that too, it's like the whole
Yeah.
the community, the interactiveness of Twitch in particular. There's something about it. That's what sets itself apart from YouTube. Like that's what's I mean, YouTube has it's interesting because YouTube has everyone knows what YouTube is. It's like the most accessible
It's easy to
video
get to.
platform. Yeah, it's everyone knows it. Everyone's got it. It's on everyone's phones. It's on everyone's TVs. It's everywhere. Twitch though is just like it's not so much centered around the content. It's more so centered around the experience, like the live experience of
Right.
everything. So it's like
In the community.
it's just
Oh, yeah.
the show is like Twitch streams are just as much about the chat as it is about
Hmm.
the person performing. That's really what it is.
Absolutely.
Like it's
Yeah.
not so that's what's kind of cool. It's like the whole interactivity between, the person performing or whatever and in the chat too. It's like that's why dude, it's like you can get it's crazy like which I'll probably end up doing something like this down the road too. I'm learning too as I go. Like I'm still fairly new to this whole world, even though I've got a decent amount of streams under my belt, but I'm still learning things as I go. But you can do things that'll like the chat can like trigger events to happen in your stream, so they can like trigger
A hype
like
train.
yeah, well but they can also trigger things like a different camera angle and stuff like that. It's like, dude, you can do some crazy weird creative stuff with it, and that's what's so cool. It's like it's something that's just so different from an actual live in-person experience. And like we were talking about before, it's almost more interactive. The irony is that it's more interactive even though it's online and you don't see these people. You're having more interactivity between these strangers at a show than you would in person at a live concert. It's crazy.
Well, I'm sure you can relate to this, Blake. But as a drummer playing a show, say you have something goes wrong, right? And then you say you kick through your bass drum head, right, on song one.
Yeah.
Okay. And then somebody comes up to you at the end of the show and they go, everything sounded great, but there's something wrong with your kick drum. And I'm like, yeah, I know. And then like somebody else comes over and they're like, hey buddy, great set, but there was something weird with your kick drum. Might want to check that out. I'm like, yeah, you know what? You're right. I probably should check that out. I'm going to check it out. Thanks. And then like, then on the way home, my dad's like, yeah, great set, but there's something wrong with it. Yeah. So like now, instead of having the three people, you can get, 1,000 people telling you that your kick drum's too loud or your kick drum's too quiet in the chat. I was thinking like for your the sound guy running it the other day, I'm like, man, what a hard gig. Like one cymbal splash gets too loud, or God forbid Dusty's chorus is too wobbly. People are gonna light him up.
But
that's a testament to how awesome Courtney was, because he crushed it.
He's on it. That's what I mean.
There was no negative comments. Like it was funny. It's like, let's say like I biffed a Phil or Paul biffed like a part of a solo or something. You would see like, oh man, I can't believe he choked the solo or something like that. But there was not one comment that was about like the sound. Like everyone was just like, well, sounds fucking amazing. Like, damn, can't really knock on this dude. He's killing it.
Dude, like those like chats are kind of like it's like textual mob activity is happening, because like you can have somebody, you can know like you kick through your kick drum and like something is off, and then somebody in the chat can say, oh man, it sounds like something's off with this kick drum, and then you have that one just fucking diehard loyal person. It's just like, fuck that kick drum, let's go. It's like, and then there's like 500, and then you got like 800 emos that just start, fuck the kick drum.
Yeah.
It's like, we love you, Blake, without the kick drum. It's just like, it's fucking awesome, dude.
Like, that's what's cool too, is like even when they know that, like, say there's like technical issues going on or something like that, even like say like the sound messes up, like, because we had a couple times where we had to like just basically restart my computer. They don't care. They're like, no, it's all good, dude. Whatever. We'll hang around. Like, just go restart your computer. Like, no one's like, this sucks. This is awful. Like, what do you got? This is embarrassing. Like, ultimate fail.
How dare you?
Everyone's just like, no, it's all good. This is
Dude,
cool.
how cool is it that like in those times, like the people in the chat, they like pivot, like you're like, ah, man, we're having this technical failure. It's like, all right, cool. And so we'll wait, we'll chill out. And it's like, hey, man, did you guys check Ozark out last night?
Yeah.
And then like the whole stream turns into something totally different, and you're like, yeah, let's go.
It's
man.
awesome. It's great.
Man.
It's like, because at a show, let's say there's like a technical issue at a show, that's almost like way more. Dude, it happened to us in Mexico.
Because that could turn into a riot, and not anywhere.
It's weird. It's awkward because it's like you're still, like the focus is still on you to like fix the problem, and then like if there's a technical issue in Twitch or something, it's like, well, the chat just like starts talking to each other. So it's like you don't need to. While you're doing stuff, it's like they're talking about Ozarks or something. Like they don't care. It's like, no,
Sweet, dude.
It's like when you go to Wawa up here at like 6 o'clock and you put your little order in for a hoagie, and then like everybody's waiting in line and they're staring at the girls making the sandwich, like, like, come on, where is it? And like I always feel bad, and I try like to go stand somewhere else, because it's like they know they're on the spot. They like you got, like you're saying, like on a performance, some shit happens on stage. You're like, yeah, we know we're wasting your time. Like, give us a break here. And most times people are okay, but there's always like some guy that had too many, fucking margaritas or whatever, and gets a little. I've seen that a bunch of times at shows.
Oh, totally. Maybe it's because it's like, I guess with a lot of live shows, it's like, especially for the headlining band, and you only have like a lot of venues will have curfews, so it's like
so rock and roll.
We are so you that's where it gets stressful. It's like, God, we haven't figured this thing out yet. We're like midway through the set, and we got man, we're gonna have to like cut a song. That's where it's kind of a bummer. It's like,
we got one more. What? Yeah.
So that and then it's happened to us before. We've had to like we've been through all that, but like doing it, it's great because like on the Twitch stuff, it's like it's not really an issue. Everyone's just kind of hanging out. Yeah.
And that's what we really enjoyed about like connecting with our audience from the podcast on Twitch, because we can like in real time, and then we're we want to hang out, we want to watch Steven Seagal videos, we'll do it. It's like it's great. And I love the cool thing about your stream. If for some strange possibility, you're listening to this podcast right now and you're a Between the Buried and Me fan, you're a drum enthusiast, and you're a beefcake enthusiast, and you haven't seen Blake's Twitch stream, I highly recommend it. And like you go through, you do these like theme nights. Like last night it was I don't even know what the theme was last night, but
last night it was just
shredding Michael Jackson.
Yeah, like anything goes is cool, because you get just like a eclectic range of requests. But theme nights are fun because like tomorrow night we're doing video game night. That's always a hit. So people will like request, yo, can you play drums of like some second
crazy
Mortal
Japanese
Kombat theme or something like that.
game.
Yeah. So, or like Final Fantasy, something like that. Like it's great because there's such a range of like video game era where it's like, yo, can you play like this Sonic the Hedgehog song, and like can you play like this old school Mario song, or like even the new age stuff. It's like, oh, this like Red Dead track or something like that. It's cool. Like you get like
some good music in video games nowadays, dude.
Oh my God, that really,
bro. Yeah,
dude.
Have you played any of the new Doom games, like Doom and Doom 2?
No, I want to, but I know the soundtrack. I know the soundtrack to that not the one that just came out, but the one that Mick Gordon did for the.
Well, Mick Gordon did both of them. Yeah, he's a super talented guy. He did a thing where like Matt Halpern played with him at like the video game awards, and they played the Doom soundtrack. It was fucking
Yeah, I saw it.
righteous,
I was like,
dude.
sick.
Yeah, good. You go,
yeah.
Halpern.
Dude.
But yeah, dude. We were talking about video games before we got on the pod here, and I know you're a gamer. You're a big Fortniter. We got to fort up one of these days. My fiance and I got pretty sick at it out of nowhere, and we've been stacking dubs.
Yeah, I need to get back into it.
I like this water world deal they're doing. That's been fun.
I do like that. Yeah, I think that's cool. Now they got the cars. That's kind of tight.
Yeah, very tight.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of these games, man, great like quality music, and there's so many. Like, think about scoring an entire friggin' Red Dead Redemption, like a game that could never end. Like that's got to be unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm deep into that game, and what's crazy is that the campaign, like the story mode for that game, is so long, anyways. But they'll have like musical cues for different things that happen. I can't even begin to think of how long it would take to score things for a video game like that, as opposed to like just doing like a normal movie score or something like that.
Oh yeah,
video games, they're so expansive, especially particularly like games like Red Dead Redemption. They're so open world and super expansive. So there's just so many different things that can happen. So you need different musical cues to like go along with that. So I just can't imagine like scoring something like that. It's gotta be insane.
I
was hooked on Red Dead when it came out. I loved the first one, and I got to like, I don't know how far you are through it, but I got like past the island thing, and one day I was off from work, and I literally sat there for a full work day, 9 to 5, no breaks. And I went like 6% in the story mode. And I'm like, I'm never going to fucking beat this. So I got to stop now. It's never going to happen. So and then I tried to pick it up recently, and it's so deep and there's so much shit in it. Like I can't even remember how to play. So like, I want to go back to it, but I think I might have to like start over.
That's kind of what I like about it. It's like, I feel like I'm getting the most bang for my buck.
Oh yeah. I got my $60 worth. That's for sure.
It's like, dude, this is going to take me forever to finish, but that's also kind of awesome. It's like I can pick up, like I can take a break from it. It's like if I want to, it's like I can just pick it up later if I need to. Like right now I'm at like, I think I'm like at 25% or something.
Oh dude, you got, man, I have like 100 hours into it, and like literally there's this point you like get marooned on an island, and that's like Puerto Rico, and you're like, what? I didn't know Puerto Rico. Like, it's so crazy. Like, you're like, why am I in Puerto Rico? How did this happen? I thought this was an old game. Where are the horses? And you're like, oh my God, this is going to take forever. You get enslaved in this pirate island, and it's like, I don't have it in me.
Oh, that's awesome. See, I love it. I can't wait to get to that part. That's going to be great. Like,
it's going to blow your mind.
I feel the same way with like just watching like Japanese animation. So like one of my boys was like, yo, bro, you got to watch One Piece. It's awesome. You've seen Dragon Ball Z, you've seen Naruto, you've seen Bleach. You got to do it. And I'm like, all right, cool. One Piece. I get like 60 episodes in, and I'm talking about, dude, how long is this? He's like, oh yeah, like the first 2 seasons are 1,100 episodes.
God.
I don't have time for this. I'm going to be 90 when I'm done.
No.
Yeah, dude. Like, yeah, anime culture, dude. It's crazy. Yeah, because that's another world that's just, there's so much expansion in that world too, that it's kind of like, where do you start? Like,
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I was kind of like an anime hater, and then a combination of Daryl and my fiance, she got me watching these Studio Ghibli movies on HBO Max, like Spirited Away, and I forget the other princess.
Yeah, like the classics.
Mocha, whatever. I don't remember what it was called. You know,
Mononoke.
Princess Mononoke, Monoka Momo, Hokamoni. But dude, the Mortal Kombat anime that they just did.
Is it tight?
Oh my God. It's so tight. It's so violent.
Tough. Oh.
I highly recommend you, our listeners and yourself, check that out. It's pretty tight, man.
Because now, dude, it's another thing too, man. There's just so much there's so much good
Yeah.
content. Like there's so many good shows, like across all platforms, Netflix, HBO, like there's so many, and it's hard to like really choose which one to like devote your time to. It's crazy.
We got that HBO Max. It came with like one of my cell phone plan, and it's got all the DC animated movies, they're not adult, but like, you know what I mean? Like they're not like for kids.
Like the Killing Joke and all those.
Exactly. Dark Knight Returns 1 and 2. And dude, there's some on there. Like we watched a couple, and they're really good. And it's like, God, I don't have like I just there's too much, but it's a good, I guess, a good problem to have.
Dude, I know. Like those. I know this isn't in that, not technically that world, but that one of my biggest regrets was not seeing Into the Spider-Verse. Did you ever see that?
Oh, dude.
What?
Love that movie.
No, I didn't see it. I've seen it a few times. I didn't see it in the theater.
Oh, yeah. I didn't see it in the
One
theater.
of my biggest regrets.
Actually,
I was like, dude, I should have seen that on a big screen. I
No,
didn't
you know what? We did see that in
this.
theaters.
Dude.
It came out in December.
Yeah.
That was
Dude,
like,
they're making a
that's
sequel.
amazing.
We love that.
They're doing a sequel?
Yeah, my fiance got me the Blu-ray that we watch it. We've watched it a couple times. That she got me down the Pokemon one. But dude, that's such a
It's fucking awesome.
great story. And like, you know, it's no secret here on the Everyman podcast. Nicolas Cage is my favorite actor, and I firmly I firmly believe, and I will die on this hill, he is the greatest actor of this current generation, the bar none. You can come at me with any name, and I can defend it. I'm telling you, Nick Cage is the national treasure. He's an American icon, and he's a hero. And getting him as Spider-Man Noir, like
Perfect
casting.
Absolutely.
Perfect casting. And like Spider-Pig, like come on, the whole thing is genius. They got another one coming out next year.
Thank God, man. Because I was just like, dude,
The soundtrack too.
The soundtrack amazing.
Epic.
Like everything about it. Like, dude, it was just the storyline, the plot, the visuals. Like they crushed it, man. Because I saw it. It's like I remember seeing previews for it. I didn't see it in the theater because I was like, I don't know. It just looks like could be just kind of whatever, like anime style-ish sort of cartoon thing.
Fat Spider-Man.
I saw it on tour. I was like, dude, why did I not see this on the big screen? It's like, this is incredible.
It's cool. There's like cartoons are like, not that they're not for adults, but I feel like our generation is kind of like grown up with and stuck with video games and cartoons. It's kind of weird. Like, like we're not like I'm pretty sure they're at this point. I think I'm holding on to the gaming thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not going anywhere.
Yeah, I'm about to be 31. I think it's sticking, you know?
Nah, it's not going anywhere. It's like, because, dude, the gaming world's just going to expand more and more. I mean, we're just getting more. The whole goal is to just get, as realistic as possible. I think VR is definitely going to be like the next step, like as far as the gaming world. It's not there yet, but it'll get there.
Remember, Daryl, when I had you over here and I put the VR on you and you were Batman? He was it was so sick.
Well, dude, Brother Jay, what was the one? It was like that scary one where the house was like haunted or some shit like that or whatever.
It was
Blake, I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah, it freaked you out, didn't it?
Bro, I put the fucking headsets on, right? And here's the thing, is like you have no spatial awareness. And
it was so funny because you're just giant. You've got these little glowing lights.
I'm just fucking like hold this thing, and dude, I'm like, flashlight, go to the kitchen, and then all of a sudden the fucking thing comes open. I'm like, yeah, wait a second, this is because you just lose your sense, like your sensibility, and the next thing you know, like some little ghost crest of a kid runs by, you're like, what the fuck? You're just like, and then it's like they run down the hallway, and then the hallway gets dark, and then you can see something off down the hallway coming at you, and it's like ripping it off right now. I'm not doing that. I'm not going down that path. No way.
Oh God, dude!
You have like bad dreams for like a week, and then you're like, "Fucking VR."
I'm like, "Come on, let's go play VR." You're like, "Nope,
not today."
I know. Yeah, and think about that. It's like how that freaked you out, but we're gonna get to a point where it's gonna be even more realistic than what like what you experience. Like you'll have like much like finer pixel density ratios and stuff like that. Like it'll borderline, definitely within our lifetime, it'll get to the point where it's gonna
It'll be
look
like Black Mirror.
almost, yeah. It'll
Oh,
be
yeah.
straight up Black Mirror. It's like that's kind of what we're doing. I think it was funny that they didn't. What was the dude? One of the producers of Black Mirror was like, they had intentions of like doing another season.
Yeah, they're like, yep, nope, it's too dark. We're good.
Yeah, we're like, no, we're pretty much already in an episode right
I'll tell you
now.
what, if there's two series like that make me feel a certain way, one is Oz, HBO's Oz.
Yeah.
That show made me feel like a bad person for watching it, like because it was so awful. Like there's just so much brutal violence and brutal words and just things like I'm not even gonna. I mean, you can't even say it. We can't even acknowledge it.
Nope.
But that being said, go check it out on HBO.
Yeah, One of those shows that's like,
Go give it a spin.
Yeah, give it a spin. And after 6 seasons of it, let me know how you feel about your life.
Yeah.
But dude, Black Mirror, like there were days where we would watch that and it would just be like, you just like it. Like the one that really like stuck with me, man, is that one where the woman like the mom dies and they trap her soul like in the bear, and then she's like. The dad starts dating other ladies, and he's like, get out of here. I don't want you here. And then she's like trapped for eternity in this bear, and her son doesn't want her, and the husband's moved on.
Yeah.
God.
That was, yeah, because they can like transfer, their consciousness to like a, like an object that they can just be like a vessel for carrying.
Oh, yeah.
And that
You've
one
got your dark ones, which was, I mean, dude.
The one that was the darkest, though, is the one with the babe, where the memories were recorded and the lady goes and kills everybody and it almost gets away with it, except she thought the kid was blind or something. It's like, like it's just, oh God, it gives me goosebumps just talking about it. Like that shit. I'm not ready for it right now. I definitely couldn't watch it right now.
No. And it's like, they're touching on subjects that are like,
it's a warning.
Yeah.
It's a warning. It's like, it's a culturally significant show, and that they really are like touching on subjects. It's like, look, we're heading down this road. It's like, this is what's going to happen. Well, if you don't just chill out.
You know what one's a little relevant now, and I'll let our listeners connect the dots themselves on their own time. It's the one where the guy is kind of puppeteering that avatar and running that campaign.
Yeah, the campaign, with the
and then all of a sudden he starts losing his shit, and he starts saying his going into business for himself and then affecting other people.
Dead on. Like they're all like, it's supposed to be this dystopian, futuristic world that's set in, but it's like, they're just,
we got that pretty quick.
These little nuggets of similarities to our modern day culture that really make you think like, oh, I could see that happening. Like that's not that insane. It's like, dude, with the whole the episode where the dude it records your what you see like in real time. So like when he goes to the airport, they have to like look and see, can you do a redo of everything you've seen the past 72 hours? And the guy looks at it and blah blah blah. It's like, dude, that's not that insane. Like,
not at all.
Got Elon Musk talking about doing the neural link thing. That's going to be like, and again, you're going to have a good
sign right up.
Yeah. You're going to have, exactly. People are going to do it. It's like,
they're already doing it. I bet you they're already doing it.
Yeah.
There's no way he'd be talking about it and publicly like that if they didn't think it was working or already have proof of it working at some level.
Yeah.
And
what's, like, oh man, it is fascinating though. It's like it's a catch-22, man. It's like the things that can happen with that can be incredible, but also just devastating. It's like you've got the beauty of it is like, it can help with people that have severe epilepsy. Like it can sense when like a seizure is coming along. It can like stop that dead in its tracks by like sending.
But it could also maybe turn you into a serial killer. We don't know.
Yeah.
It's
so It's
Not
crazy.
for me, fam. Not for me.
No,
Yeah,
no.
that whole biohacking or whatever. It's just like let's just let something happen naturally. Let's just see where we go.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll grow an extra thumb or something. But like, I'm in no rush to put any extra shit in my brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's. I mean, because I feel like we're evolving naturally enough as it is. Like I think we're doing okay, but it's like Jurassic Park warned us too, man. It's like the scientists didn't stop to think. It's not so much rather if they could. It's more so if they should. Like,
Yep.
Yeah.
it's like,
There was a
because you can doesn't mean you should.
there was a lawsuit a couple years ago with Apple and some of the EMTs, the first responders, where their headquarters is, and as a result of the lawsuit, some records came out of 911 calls to their they have this R&D lab there. It's like
Yeah.
Project X or whatever, and there was in this court case that came out, there was all these people leaving Apple's research lab with laser burns in their eyes and I'm dead serious. And so that's how it came out that Apple was testing. They're testing some headset that shoots lasers into your eyes that you see what your phone is looking at or whatever. And a bunch of people had it was one injury was somebody walked through a glass door, and then it's oh wait, there's 5, and their names were test subject Jane Doe 1, and a bunch of people had fucking laser beam. And this was 5 or 6 years ago. And then now, if you're I'm always kind of loosely paying attention to what's going on with them. And they're talking oh yeah, the next big thing from Apple is going to be this holographic headset. And I'm hey, I mean, the thing that was shooting lasers into people's eyes.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
Dude.
Fuck out of here. No.
No.
It makes sense with the timeline. I didn't think. I guess it makes sense though to do a holographic thing because I always thought it was going to be they would go the contact lens route where it would just be a video feed to a contact lens, kind of like how the Nosedive in the Nosedive episode in
Yep.
Black Mirror, where it's just you can flip through your phone, but you don't need to look at the phone. It's just in your eye, in a
in your
contact
face.
lens. So it's
Well, I'll tell you what, if it gets to the point where the TSA is scanning my visuals for the last 72 hours, I'm only going to look at pictures of my own ass, for 72 hours leading up to it. So I'll be God, help feast your eyes.
Yeah. Feast it.
Feast.
Oh, there's going to be people doing that. Yeah,
oh, dude, for sure. I would just do the weirdest shit for 3 days before I fly. That's all I would do,
The guy, I could just see the TSA agent just man, you jerk.
Yeah, I'm just eating lasagna naked in a hot tub or something. That's all I'm doing, looking at myself from multiple angles. Yeah, man, it's a wild world, and that we kind of, the way we were talking about Twitch and all the different kind of, intricacies of the tech that goes with it. So, you're doing a great job with it. I love watching it. I know the fans love it. What advice would you have, for anybody that's maybe watching your Twitch stream or listening to this pod that I'm thinking about maybe, like you said yourself, you weren't sure if this was something you wanted to do, is there any advice you'd pass on to anybody that maybe wants to go down that road that you're doing here that you've learned?
Dude, yeah. It should solely be for fun. It should be a hobby. You should not do it because there was this window of time where Twitch streamers could make it was almost like the California gold rush where it was Twitch was this big thing and look at all these people that are making full-time careers off of being Twitch streamers. It's that's gone. That doesn't exist anymore for newcomers. That's very extremely rare for people to come into the platform and make that their if they're just doing Twitch, make that their full-time gig that'll pay the bills and this, that, and the other. But your intentions should be that it should be it should be fun. And try to, make it a good thing that I've noticed is the people that have really cool Twitch channels that I follow and that I subscribe to. It's they're all unique in their own way. They're not just doing verbatim of what other people are doing. So it's like that's kind of a thing. It's like you kind of, in any sort of platform, you kind of sort of have to like carve your little niche and dig in and kind of be unique in that aspect. So that's kind of part of it too. But definitely, like with all intentions, make sure that you're going into it just trying to have a good time. Like just have fun with it. Because yeah, people get caught up in the aspect of making it like a full-time gig. It's like, dude, like your boy Matt from Trivium.
Oh, love him. Love me some Triv.
Yeah, and he got in it. He got in the Twitch game during the gold rush. Like
He's like more well known for that now.
Dude,
their new album is actually pretty sick, by the way.
I need to listen to it.
It's pretty good.
I'm pretty sure like he probably could just do Twitch.
Oh yeah, he probably makes more money doing that than touring.
I would not be surprised at all. Like I think, and again, like he saw the writing on the wall. Dude. He was just like, oh, there's this cool platform, and there's a lot of room for growth in like this music category. It's like, yeah, I know it's tailored for gaming, but man, it's like it's kind of cool to see how much room there is for growth as far as like people that play guitar or drums or whatever. So yeah, and it's, dude, what's cool too is like it's kind of humbling. Like you got to work at it. Like you kind of have to build. You have to build your own unique kind of community, and it's cool. Like and those things kind of happen organically over time, but you gotta put some time into it. But in the end, it should all just be intended to have some fun for sure.
Well, fun you certainly have, my friend. It's awesome. You exude the fun, and you know, this pod has exuded fun. It's been a lot of fun, man. I'm glad to finally, you know, we had you on before with Dusty at the, you know, we were just talking about that with him. You know, we had some sick wings, sick show, sick venue. You know, Reading, PA, love it.
Oh, yeah.
And
Reading, dude.
Yep, home to the great Hans. And yeah, I just saw him on Instagram the other day. Good dude. Good dude.
I love that guy.
Yeah, I bet, man. That's gotta be tough. Being away from the fam like that, your extended fam, you know.
That's what was kind of cool about that stream that we did. Like it was kind of cool to see everybody again. It was like a reunion. We hadn't seen them since our last show, which was in Brazil, and that was like March 14th or something. It was literally the day before Trump put in the order to kind of close the borders from Europe. He hadn't put anything in effect yet for South America to North America, but yeah, that was the last time we had all seen each other, and then we got to hang out for the Colors stream. It's kind of awesome.
Did your parents like? Was it like the good old times?
Oh, dude, they loved it. They were so stoked. They were like, "Oh, boy's gonna be back in town. I can't wait to see
big
him."
sandwiches.
Oh, my babies is coming back. Yeah.
Feed the band. Gotta feed the band.
Yeah, my mom was so stoked, dude. Yeah, because she was the band mom. Like whenever we would have practice sessions, she made these dope vegan cookies. They were awesome. The guys always got a kick out of that, man. So she was loving it. She was loving every minute of it.
That's awesome, man. Well, I could tell, you know, like we said earlier, we could tell that you guys were fired up to do it, fired up to be, you know, in effect back in front of your audience, you know, in a different way. And, you know, I know from being a part of it online, you know, being in there, being in the chat with everybody, it's real. The love is real. And, you know, I said this to Tommy when he was on here a couple of weeks ago. I think it was episode 74 in the archives there. It's on our YouTube page here. And Dusty, you know, I say to you all the time, you guys you're the best. You're special guys. You're genuine. And it's so cool for me, you know, the success that I've gotten to see you guys have with the Grammy nomination and just all the critical, you know, acclaim. And just, I know that everybody inside the metal world respects you guys for what you've kind of helped bring to the forefront with with music, and I look around at so many of these bands that are like having their moment right now, and you know, and it's the result of, you know, bands like yourself, you know, Meshuggah, Dream Theater, even to a degree, paving the way for that kind of broad spectrum of like creativity that's allowed, you know, and like there's little things that you started, you know, with in the beginning with BT Bam that have grown to where you guys are now. It's this result of just constant progress and pushing forward and trying new things. And, you know, like it makes me think of like Jamie King, like saying like, hell yeah, it's weird, man. Like just fucking just harmonize it, you know, like he would say stuff like that to us. And it's like, you know, and then when we had him on the show, like it's the same thing. Like there's just this love and passion that you guys have for not only each other, but the music that you create. And I think that's why, you know, that's why I love the music. I know that's why Daryl resonates with it when he heard it for the first time.
Hell yeah.
And it's powerful stuff, man. I'm super, super proud of you guys. Super proud of you, man. Taking over Twitch. It's been really, really awesome, you know, and Daryl and I, we really appreciate you, you know, giving us your time here on a balmy Wednesday. So, you know, before we wind down here, brother, so give us all the details, man. Where can people find you? How can people get involved? You know, what's up with the steakhouse, bro?
Oh, okay. You can subscribe to the steakhouse at twitch.tv/BlakeyEatSteaky. You don't have to subscribe. You can just watch. You can just that's the beauty about Twitch is like you can just watch the streams for free if you want to. And then we got a website. We got betweenthebearandme.com. We got our Facebook, facebook.com/BTBamOfficial. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I'm on Instagram, Blakey Eats Steaky on there. Just Google Blakey Eats Steaky and you'll just find everything that pops up.
You'll find everything you're looking for.
Yeah. But dude, for real, thank you so much for having me on, man. I appreciate y'all so much. This is you got an awesome gig going.
Thanks, man.
Keep it up, man. It's
you know we will.
It's cool, and y'all are incredible conversationalists, man. It's very gratifying to be on here, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks,
Blake.
brother.
That's the highest compliment we can get, man. Thank you so much.